what was the name of that guy again? He ripped us off. He lied to us about how good his game is. Yeah, a greasy hair, just horrendous shirts. He wears a chain, like American accent. He's got a real hard-on for Jim Sterling. What was his name?
Randy Pitchford is a man who's faced all kinds of accusations and criticisms in recent years. Some of it fair, some of it not. He's best known perhaps as the guy who gave us the horror show, and not the good kind of horror show, that was Aliens Colonial Marines. Pitchford is the head of Gearbox, and the guy's played a big part in some damn good games like Brothers in Arms and the Borderlands series. However, Aliens Colonial Marines, that game they told us would look like this, but actually looked like this, kind of overshadows all of that. It wasn't just a bad game. It was a bad game that they flat out lied to us about. They mis-sold it to us. Worse, some would say, than what happened with No Man's Sky. Not only that, there have been accusations in the past, and let's remember, they do remain just accusations, that Gearbox took Sega's money, which was meant for Colonial Marines, and spent it instead on Borderlands 2, Gearbox's own project, which had no connection to Sega whatsoever. It was alleged that Gearbox actually outsourced the development of Aliens to another studio.
Now, the man who busted those allegations wide open using an anonymous whistleblower was Jim Sterling. Writing for Destructoid back in 2013, he reported these allegations, and he also claimed to back up some of the info given by the whistleblower using information from other sources. Jim Sterling has long been a critic of Gearbox, Aliens Colonial Marines, and Randy Pitchford himself, and the two have, let's say, crossed paths many times on Twitter, for example, ever since. It's fair to say Sterling is probably Randy Pitchford's most vocal critic. So there's no chance in hell that Randy Pitchford might forget Jim Sterling's name during, let's say, an interview with IGN's Ryan McCaffrey.
Oh, what's the name of that guy? He's the journalist guy. His thing is he's always mad. He's a big dude. He's got a British accent. He's got a hard on for me. I can't remember that guy.
I'm not sure who you're talking about.
He's a journalist. He's kind of big. He's got a British accent, and he's always angry.
So let's just get this clear. He definitely knows Jim Sterling's name. He knows exactly who Jim Sterling is, and all he was doing there was some kind of childish attempt to get Ryan McCaffrey to say Jim Sterling's name for him.
Not even acknowledging the fact that he might know Jim Sterling's name. It's like, it's not important enough for me to know his name. You should know his name, though. You should know his name. But it's like, oh, what's that guy? That's the guy. It's so cringy, honestly.
80s sleazeball corporate boardroom tactics of like, oh, what's his name? He's a big dude. He's off, Randy Pitchford.
Actually, during the interview, Pitchford said that back in the day, he used to retweet people who were being positive about the game, and Jim Sterling would call them out as fake accounts. That's what he was saying.
It's a long-running thing, right? Like, Jim Sterling is for years now, it's kind of repeatedly gone back to examine things that happened with Aliens, and he constantly references it, and it wasn't just like a bad review or anything like that. It was like this article and extensive coverage afterwards that definitely Randy Pitchford would remember, and he remembers how he feels about Jim Sterling. He remembers everything about Jim Sterling except for his name. Come on, dude.
It's just so apt that his name rhymes with Bitchford, doesn't it? Not only his name, but it completely sums him up too. So that's what I'll be calling him from now on, Mike. During the hour-and-a-half interview, Bitchford rejects the fact.
Sorry,
I did say that's what I'd be calling him.
You did warn me.
Bitchford rejects the fact that we were missold on Aliens Colonial Marines. When asked very diplomatically, we may say, by IGN's Ryan McCaffrey.
When it was first shown, there was this sort of higher bar that was put out there for people.
I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I mean, I don't subscribe to that. I don't think that's the issue. I think because the reality is.
So there you go then, we were all wrong. The problem with Aliens Colonial Marines wasn't actually the bullshot trailers. So what exactly was the problem, Randy?
Because here's what that argument's about.
Yeah.
Wow, Gearbox is great, I expect this.
Yep.
Aliens is great, Gearbox is great, I expect this. And then I play the thing, God, it's not that. Something must have gone wrong. it couldn't be that they just didn't entertain us as well as they did. Because if they wanted to entertain us, they really would have. So, so some people started to imagine, like, there was this whole conspiracy theory that things were faked or there were different engines. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
I don't get this, I don't get this. What he's admitting there is either Aliens isn't great or Gearbox isn't great. We're expecting it to be great and we're disappointed because, it's not great? Is that what you're saying, Randy?
He says in the interview a few times that it's a 7.5 out of 10 game. It's like, he sincerely says that. We had really high expectations, okay? That's what he's saying. But that's our fault, okay? It's nothing to do with the marketing. It's not the trailers, the bullshots, the CGI stuff that was completely not representative of the game. It was our fault because it was Alien and because it was Gearbox, and we made that association in our heads, being the idiots that we are, and thought it would be a good game. When pressed by McCaffrey, that pre-release footage clearly looked better than the finished product, even with McCaffrey helpfully suggesting that changes are just a normal part of development. Randy said this.
There was one video somebody did online where they're like, they did the comparison. It was fucking stupid shit.
Pitchford says the differences between the preview material and the finished game were trivial and minor. He insists reviews for the game were only harsh because of expectation, which again was totally not their fault because the differences were trivial and minor, remember? He was surprised by the backlash and blamed Sega for doing a CG pre-rendered trailer, which in his words got whacked in the UK. Now, he's talking there, I think, about the time that Sega was punished by the UK Advertising Standards Authority for basically false advertisement because the trailer was a lot more polished and graphically kind of advanced than the actual game that we got, which is false advertisement.
So they got a fine, right?
They got fined in the UK. They were punished in the UK, but he doesn't say that. They got whacked.
They got whacked.
You see, it's not their fault.
No, not his fault either. It's Sega's fault.
Yeah, it's Sega's
fault. It's not
got whacked.
Pitchford's fault. It's Sega's fault.
And anyway, you can't expect the guy to know about this stuff because it's not his world, is it?
It's not his world.
Not his world, man. Leave him alone.
There was like a
false
commercial
advertising type of thing.
I don't know how it works. That's not my world.
You have to say like at the bottom, like do like
I
a
don't
disclaimer.
know. I don't know. Again, I don't know. That's not my world.
What the does he mean it's not his world? It's his game. It's his company. It's his game. Like, how is it not his world? Like how he's completely disassociating himself from the fine that he had. It's not his fault. It's not his responsibility. It's just not his world. I don't care about any of that. It's not his world. What do you mean, Randy?
The main problem with Aliens Colonial Marines, though, was expectation. This is the thing that he keeps coming back to. Everyone had their own version of what they wanted, Randy says. If you want a 9 and you expect a 9 and then you give people a 7, they'll give you a 5. So it sounds like it was all our fault. I mean, it was Aliens Colonial Marines was a train wreck. That was our fault. It was our fault that the reviews were so bad. God, I hate us.
That's how people get excited for a game, Randy, by the shit that you put out about the game. The representations that you give to us about the game. That's how people get excited about a game. And then when you deliver on a game which don't meet those expectations set by the things that you've been showing us about the game, that's why we're disappointed, Randy. It's because you don't meet the expectations that you set for us. Take some responsibility, you fucking bitchy bastard. He's been a little tit. He's trying to dodge and weave around all the issues, blaming other people, just pushing the responsibility to Sega and other people. It's like, and being arse about Jim Sterling. Who's that guy? Oh yeah, that guy. I obviously know who he is. I'm just going to be a bitch about it and just not acknowledge that I know his name. Randy, it's in the name, dude. Stop being a bitch. I don't know where I'm going. I'll just go.
Right, well, let's take a look at the comments.
Oh shit, got to do the comments.
First up, Hazy J says on our Windows 10 PC gaming video, you guys hate your viewers. 2 laughing faces.
59 upvotes. How
we don't hate you guys.
How did you reach that conclusion? Where's his evidence?
I hate some of you, but not generally the viewers. Of course not.
Most people are alright. I mean, there's only some of the people are like arseholes, but most people are. You're fine. Most of you are fine. Next up, on last week's Sunday Roundup, you shouldn't play with dead things comments. I reckon Pete Hines is one of those assholes who eats other people's food in the staff kitchen. He also wait for it. He also is that one that takes a massive toilet clogging dump and then blames someone else. I mean, I couldn't have put it better myself.
Very detailed judge of character there.
Yeah. I mean, I can't dispute it. Yeah. He probably is that dude.
He'd probably deny it and change his mind a couple of days later about it anyway, so who knows?
He probably wouldn't call it a toilet clogging dump. Though he'd have a better name for
Yeah,
it, like
yeah.
you know, just a small mini toilet plug.
plug.
A mini
The plug is a selling point.
DLC dump. Something like that.
And commenting on our Destiny 2's Shady Shaders topic, Wire2904 says this: single-use skins? Ha ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha ha ha! Priceless.
I'm not sure you got all the ha's in there.
I
I think you misread that. You might have to try it again.
did my best though. It's pretty funny. Pretty depressing.
Priceless. Actually, they're not priceless. They're quite valuable.
They are
right now.
quite pricey.
They're pricey now. That's the whole point. So, don't know what you're on about. Next up on our G2A video, Koloyan Torodov says, "Why are we Slavs always stereotyped as a squatting, wearing Adidas people doing illegal actions?" You like that? I haven't finished yet. In reality, we drink vodka in squatted position and decide what Adidas store we should steal from. I mean,
Wow.
he's obviously a Slav himself. I mean,
We
can't
have no
refute
way of knowing he is, though. That's the thing. He might be being
his name.
anti-Slav. He
His
might
name-
have created an account for the purposes of a joke.
His name is Koloyan Todorov. I mean, it's got an Ov at the end. It's got to be Slavic, right?
Listen, Jake's Polish. Half Polish. And also commenting on the Windows 10 PC game mode video, basically everyone commented, "Lol, did you just say game mode?" Thanks for playing, everyone.
It's pretty much half the comments on that
Appreciate
video.
it. Yeah.
Game mode.
No joke.
Game mode. 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 It's indistinguishable.
It's
Isn't
the
it?
end of the video. Right then, what did you think about what Randy Pitchford had to say about Aliens Colonial Marines? Do you feel like it's your fault that that game was so shite? Let us know down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. There's another video right there which you could watch right now, and there's a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.